Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Maddie. This channel is about all things God. I post what I feel God is leading me to share, and really all of it is revelation that I have received and lessons that I've learned in my life. So guys, today I want to share on this. The fight is rigged in your favor. A while ago, I was meditating and I felt God say, the fight is rigged in your favor. I just want to remind someone today, our enemy isn't a weak opponent, but he is a defeated opponent. Now, God began to remind me about when Jesus came down to the earth. In fact, when he was born and he grew from a baby into Jesus, the Messiah that we know, that his victory on the cross was already secured. He didn't come hoping to beat the enemy. He came having already secured the victory, but it still had to be walked out for the benefit of you and I and for God's glory to be seen. That tells me that just because I have already won, it doesn't mean that I stop praying, I stop fasting, or waging war on the enemy. I still have to walk out the victory that I have in Jesus. And when we do that, we are standing our ground. Now, you need to understand that whatever battle you face, you have already won. You need to get this in your spirit. Whatever battle I face, I have already won. The enemy tries to con us into thinking that we have lost. And when we wage war against the enemy, we're not fighting for victory. We're enforcing it. We're reminding him that he lost the moment he was cast out of heaven. When he comes against you and I, he's hoping that we're not aware of and won't use the authority we have in Jesus. And so he tries to construct these false realities through what our physical eyes can see and what our minds can comprehend. But what he's not banking on is you and I using our spiritual eyes and understanding to see through the facades that he creates. Because when you believe the lie that the enemy presents, when you believe these false circumstances that appear real, you're handing over your victory to the enemy. Now remember the story of Gehazi. Elisha prayed that God would open his servant's eyes. You and I need to be like Elisha, always seeing in the spirit. Now, Elisha wasn't afraid because he knew that he was already in a position of victory. Now, your position doesn't stop the enemy from attempting. Just because you wield the power, it doesn't stop him from trying to usurp that power. And that's why you have things like attempted coups and takeover, because the enemy is hoping that they'll win. He's the one hoping that he will win based on how we respond to the battles he brings to us, not the other way around. But Elisha already knew he had the victory. Listen to this. It says, God provided an army of angels leading horses and chariots of fire to protect them. So know that all of heaven is backing you. When the enemy comes up against you, you're never alone. You have an angelic army right behind you. Listen, by the time the Assyrian army had surrounded Elisha and Gehazi, the angelic army was already in place. Because when Elisha asked for God to open Gehazi's eyes, he didn't see them coming from a distance. No. They were already in place. So your angelic force is already with you, waiting to engage the enemy on your behalf. The second thing we see is Gehazi saw defeat in the physical realm with his natural eyes because he saw the Assyrians surrounding them. He didn't see the angelic army who were in the spiritual realm because his spiritual eyes were not yet open. Now, how many times have we looked at circumstances and situations and just felt defeat because our natural eyes just couldn't see a way out, or our minds couldn't comprehend a way out? I know I certainly have. And so my prayer today is that God would open our eyes to see beyond the physical into the spiritual dimension, to see beyond the facades and the false realities that the enemy presents. Elisha prayed to God for Gehazi to see beyond the physical into the spiritual dimension. You see, your positioning will determine what you see. When we begin to operate from a position of victory, we see differently, we think differently, we respond differently. The enemy tries to get us to think that we've lost, to think that we've lost, because someone who's lost acts differently to someone who's won. Now, we have to remember that when Jesus died, he effectively purchased our victory. It was sealed for us here in the earth realm. But even before that, in the heavenly places, it was already sealed. And Psalm 40 says it. Here I am coming to you as a sacrifice, for the prophetic scrolls of your book have written about me. And then Luke 24 confirms it. And Jesus says to his disciples, these are my words that I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms, remember Psalms 40, must be fulfilled. You see, it had already been decided that at a pre-appointed time, Jesus would come into the earth as a man to defeat Satan and restore us, mankind, back to God. But he didn't leave heaven in the hope that maybe he would defeat Satan. No. It was sealed in heaven already, even before Jesus was conceived. And so when Jesus was judged, crucified, and died on the cross, the enemy probably thought he's got him. But he got the shock of his life when Jesus showed up and stripped them of their powers. And we read that in Colossians. When he disarmed the rulers and authorities, he made a public display of them, having triumphed over them through him. He gave the enemy the death blow, and he stripped the principalities of their armor and of their power over us. So you see, no matter what the enemy tried, from when Jesus was a baby with Herod to trying to get him to renounce his authority by tempting him in the wilderness, nothing would give him victory. Now notice that the enemy didn't stop trying. He will never stop trying. So let's settle this today. You and I, let's settle this. Until this world passes away, the enemy will never stop trying to claim victory over every area of our lives. He will try. And this, guys, is what is on my heart today. You and I always need to remember that it doesn't matter what we're facing in our natural, our physical environment. We already have the victory, and we must always enforce it. Guys, I hope this has blessed you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.